The Mavs-Cavs game was the only game in the association to go over the total, making unders 10-1 last night. And check this out, NBA has unders 39-12 since the All-Star break. For more on this trend, we bring in NBA analyst Chiney Ogwumike. And Chiney, unders have been hitting at an absurd rate since the break. Is this a coincidence, or does playoff positioning now play a bigger role?
Yeah, playoff positioning definitely plays a bigger role. There's something else too, but let's start about the playoffs because we're in the fourth quarter of the NBA season. Each team has around 25 or so games left, and I think everyone wants to move up in the standings, and so that's why you're seeing the game slow down, the points go a little bit down, but also the twist here is I think it's also past All-Star break. A lot of players were tired. You look at Tyrese Halliburton, you look at Steph Curry, a lot of those sensational performances we saw from the first half of the season. After All-Star, these guys are like kind of feeling it. They'll get their rest as they get their rhythm in the fourth quarter. I think it's more of that than it is a coincidence in the numbers.
Okay, and the team that's been hot since the break is the Milwaukee Bucks. We asked your buddy, Kendrick Perkins, if he was buying a big second half. Here's what he had to say.
Oh, I'm selling. Matter of fact, I'm throwing them away. And here's why. Right, we know that they're going to get better defensively under Doc Rivers. I believe that. But we don't know what's the status of Chris Middleton. Right? There's so much uncertainty around Chris Middleton. And in order for the Bucks to do what they need to do, and that minimum reaching the NBA Finals, they need a healthy Chris Middleton. And so I'm selling stock if it comes down to the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't want any deer meat.
Said with such conviction. So the Bucks are 3-0 out of the break.
How are we going to do him dirty like that?
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. 7-1 to win the title, plus 290 to win the East. Did Perk write the Bucks off too soon?
He might have just a smidge too soon because he makes good points on Chris Middleton, and also just Drew Holiday was a big core piece of that championship season from the Bucks. But the Bucks have gotten better defensively. Under Adrian Griffin, they were 22nd in defense. Now under Doc Rivers, that's moved up to 6th. They have different schemes for different opponents. Their defense is better. They will need their X factors in Middleton, and also they need that guy Dame Lillard to be more comfortable shooting the ball. But look, it's going to be a long shot still for them, but they do have the pieces, at least what we're seeing defensively, to contend come postseason.
The Boston Celtics have the best record in the NBA by a mile. They have the best point differential in the NBA by a mile. Head coach Joe Mazzulla, however, 9-1 to win Coach of the Year. Now, he's facing some stiff competition, but could that be a good value way of attacking the Celtics down the stretch here?
It could be, honestly, because if you think about the other categories, maybe they're more favorites in that in that regard. I'm looking at what OKC has built with Mark Daigneault. I'm looking at what the Timberwolves have built with Chris Finch. You know, when we talk about these arguments, we tend to go best player, best team for the award. Well, this is the best team that we're seeing, apart from the Nuggets. They dominate nearly every category, and I do think Coach Mazzulla has flown under the radar.
Now, this is a team I've heard you talk about on a few shows. So in the West, the Pelicans sneakily sitting in 5th, 30-1 to win the conference. Can you see this team making a deep playoff run?
I did this before, and don't judge me. Nay, right? That's the sound of a dark horse, baby. We've got another dark horse out west. Before I made the sound for the Mavs, now I want to make the sound for the Pelicans because I don't know what sound Pelicans actually make the animal.
No one does.
I love New Orleans. I love New Orleans because Zion has been available. He's played in about 48 games. He's awards eligible, on track for that 65-game mark. They have size on the perimeter. They have skill on the perimeter. Trey Murphy III, Brandon Ingram, Jones. You've got CJ McCollum when he's available. This is a team that is constructed to dominate not only the paint through Zion, but also the perimeter. I would not be surprised if they knocked off a team in the first or second rounds.
The Lakers are plus 125 to make the playoffs, minus 160 to miss the playoffs. This does not include the in-season tournament or the play-in tournament, as we're still all getting used to that. It's just the final 8 on each side. How would you play this considering they've got the 6th hardest schedule the rest of the way?
Look, it's a long shot for the Lakers, honestly. I know that we look at this next game stretch. The next 12 games, they are not leaving the state of California. So if you look at them in the standings right here, they're at 10th. Even though they play at home, if they're able to go better than 500, you can only move up to maybe 6th. It's very difficult for the Lakers. I think that so far this season, they've had more troubles than they've had solutions. But if they're able to sustain and survive this homestand, maybe they'll make a push. But right now, from what we're seeing, the West is stacked, and it feels like that same team from last year remained the same while the rest of the West got better.
This is not going to be an easy rest of the season for the Lakers by any means, let alone they have a tough matchup tonight against the Clippers. So who do you like in this one?
Look, it's the time for the Los Angeles Clippers. I know Paul George is not available. There's an opportunity there that the Lakers might say, all right, you're down one of your core guys. Maybe we can get this win. But this is the time. This is the year. I mean, y'all saw the new logo. There's a whole new rebrand. They have a new arena that's not too far away from here. Look, this is a team that, apart from the Nuggets, they have been the best team in the West since, December? Their pieces are clicking on all cylinders. And then when we're talking about this matchup, that guy right there, Kawhi Leonard, amongst players that have played LeBron James 30 times, he has the best winning percentage against him. There's something about LeBron that gets Kawhi Leonard up. We also know the decades history from the Spurs to the Raptors to the Clippers. Like there's a nice rivalry going between not only these stars in LA, but the teams. And it feels like it's the time, the era has moved over to the Clippers.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Keep them going, try to wear, pull up.